Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Oh, yes, I'm so glad you made it, baby, because some people ain't making it. Beach. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Listen, welcome to another episode of the Most Important Person Podcast. Oh, yes, baby, listen, ain't nothing in here but some motivation, some inspiration, and some encouragement. And that is why this is the safest room to be in. Please, if this is your first time, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, bring a friend, share with a friend, do all of the things, baby, because this is truly the safest room to be in. Listen, we're going to grow in here. Baby, we're going to have some tears, some fears expressed, we're going to laugh, we're going to cry together, but most importantly, we're going to do all of those things together, okay? Because you are the most important person in your life. So, today, on today's show, I wanted to bring one of my good sisters, right? Keeping up with LGBTQ History Awareness Month, I wanted to bring one of my sisters. Did you hear me say my sisters? Listen, I'm not saying sister lightly, okay? Now, I'm not one of those girls, one of those people who use the word sister lightly, right? And so when I say that this woman is my sister, my friend, my confidant, my road dog, now listen, this is my girl, okay, Kaniya Walker. Now she told me not to read no bio. She want me to tell y'all straight from the hip what I feel. You know, I like to give the girls all their things, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I want y'all to know how amazing they are in the community and also privately, right? Because not often enough do the people on the ground doing the work locally in the communities get the flowers they deserve. And so I wanted to introduce and bring my sister Kaniya Walker on the show, right? She is someone who is sweet, who is kind, who has been doing the work for a very long time, who has a lived experience, but most importantly loves the community, right? When I met her, I remember that she took this position over at the space that she works now, honey, and she was calling my phone and inviting me and inviting me and inviting me, and I'm like, girl, why this lady keep calling my phone, girl? Like, okay, let me just come. And when I literally say it was one of the safest spaces that I had been to inside the community in a very long time, and from there on out, I knew that I wanted to get to know her, I wanted to spend time with her, and I wanted to build a relationship with her. I desire to be in community with her, right? And she's a quiet storm. I'm talking about a quiet storm in the community. She does amazing work. And also, she is the type of girl who you can call and be there at 3 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning. And also, she has an amazing story. And so, without further ado, I want to bring my sister, Kaniya Walker. And so, without further ado, my sister, Kaniya. Welcome, sis.
Hello.
I'm screwed. What was the third? Hello.
That's what they expect from me.
Why you say that?
That's what they expect from me, though.
Why?
Everybody, hello.
I'm screaming. Okay,
They know I love you, though.
I know, absolutely. So we're gonna get into that. So, but how are you?
I'm so good. I'm really good right now. And you know the good thing is this, like honestly, out of anybody that I know, you're the only person that always asks me, "How are you?"
Really?
Yes.
See, and that's so crazy. Why do you think that is? Like, I know, I feel like I have a reason why, because I think it's a people thing. But why do you think that is?
No, I don't know that. That's why I'm here.
Okay.
Because like I felt like that you're the only person that ever asked me. You already know. You already told that story.
Yeah.
Like you was like, "I love you." And I'm like, "Girl, I don't get into all that."
Yeah.
But I feel like that you are like the only friend that I've had that I would say, "How are you?" first. And sometimes, you know, I'm not always okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go through stuff too.
And see, and that's the thing. Go ahead now.
No, you go ahead.
No, and that's the thing. So for me, it was literally me working at, because I used to do that. I think that we as a society have gotten so used to just saying, "How are you?" like it's a rhetorical question. Like, you're not waiting for a response. And me personally, just talk about me, I was working at a shoe store and I had just got off, and I was holding the door for a lady when I was walking out, just rushing out, and so when she was coming in, I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she was like suicidal and homicidal and depressed, and I don't know what I want to do, and it stopped me in my tracks. I had literally like kept walking when I said "How you," and when she said that, it stopped me, and I was like, "I'm sorry." She said, "You asked me how I'm doing. I'm telling you how I'm doing. I'm feeling suicidal. I'm feeling homicidal, and I don't know what to do." And I was like, wow. And so from that day on, I genuinely ask people how they're doing and wait for a response because I know what it's like to suffer in silence. You know what I'm saying? I know what it's like to act like everything is okay and, show up in the world and think and be slowly killing myself on the inside. And so I always ask people how they're doing.
I don't think I suffer in silence. I just feel like that nobody ever asked that question. Now, if somebody asks that question, then it's like, I'm going to give you a whole book. I'm going to be like, this is what's going on, whatever the case may be. But I feel like that for me, it's like all of my friends, not even say most, all of my friends, I have friends that was like for like 20 years, none of them ever said, how are you doing?
Wow.
Ever. So that was like when I met you, and I've always said that when I met you, it's like, especially when it comes to trans women, like people know that like all my friends, you can call one of them right and they'll be like, she do not like trans women. And I feel like that's not the case, but they know about you. Even with me coming here, I'm like, I'm going to Monroe podcast. They was like, oh, that's your girlfriend, blah, blah, whatever it may be. But for me, I feel like that, you know how they always say like the strong friend.
Yeah.
And people think that I'm the strong friend. And I'm not always the strong friend, but I'm Aquarius. So for me, it's like, even like growing up, like it's always like, we don't talk about that. And my mom always said, if I can't do it, or your dad can't do it, or your grandma can't do it, you gotta wait. So I still live by that right now. So for me, it's like friends.
So well, for those that don't know, tell us, how you grew up and who you are. In honor of LGBT History Month, tell us a little bit about Kaniya Walker.
So I think a lot of times, I think that me being in this type of work, it's like...
What type of work for the children that don't know? Because they...
Advocacy, well, my friends, I'm not even going to say advocacy because my friends going to be like, well, girl, you always tell us you're not in advocacy. Okay. I'll always be like, I'm just telling my story.
Right.
So for me, I feel like that I didn't grow up in a household where it's like my dad didn't accept me, my mom didn't accept me. You just said earlier you have like an older brother and a younger brother.
And a younger brother.
That's my story too. And we are so close. Like me and my brothers are so close. And I think because my mom always said if something happened to me, like y'all aren't gonna have each other.
Right.
She
Where did you grow up?
always say that. On the Eastern Shore of Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Not Maryland, Virginia.
Right.
Where the chicken plants are.
Oh, so it was like real rural, or?
Yeah, you ain't never had the chicken you eat, Purdue chicken?
No, I ain't never been to the Purdue plant.
But do you eat Purdue chicken though?
I mean, I'm pescatarian-ish.
Yeah.
So I don't really eat chicken like that.
So for me, it's like it's going from probably like from New York. Like if you go from New York, have you heard of Ocean City?
Yeah.
So if you go from Ocean City to Virginia Beach, like you can go over Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Okay.
Not the one that you think you know of.
Girl, but I don't know.
It's another one.
Okay.
So for me, I feel like that's how I grew up. But I didn't grow up in I didn't grow up in an environment where it was like my family did not accept me. So I think a lot of times, like that's what like made me not want to do this kind of work. Because I always felt like that you had to have this story. You had to have this story like your family didn't accept you.
Yeah.
And that's not my story. Like my family did accept me. And I think that like for me, it was like you said, an older brother, a younger brother. They love me, they accept me, their kids, everything accept me. But I think that my mom, and I was just saying this the other day, like my mom, like she caused a lot of issues and like she's not here anymore. And I know that she probably looking down like, well, I'm not there no more. So it's like, that's up to you. So for me, I feel like that My mom always taught me to be strong, and I felt like that she always taught me that it was like, because that's what she did. Like everything could be on her, and like she didn't have no emotions. She was a Virgo.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
So her emotions and all stuff. That's how I am too. So I think sometimes I think that like my friends feel the same way. It's like it, and then none of my friends have ever experienced like the things that I've experienced. Like none of my friends are trans. None of my friends have ever like my friends have their mothers. My friends have their fathers. Whatever. Probably the only thing that my friends probably don't have is support are their siblings. But if you don't have your mother, your father, your grandmother, your siblings, like they matter, but it's like if you don't have that hierarchy, it's like it's not the same thing.
Okay, okay. So how did you get to Washington, D.C.?
So Washington D.C. So for me, it was like when I went to college. Like so, I went to college. I went to Norfolk State. So my mom never wanted me to go to Norfolk State. She hated it. I got accepted to so many colleges like Clark Atlanta,
Okay.
Morehouse.
Okay.
That's really where I wanted to go.
I
You
know,
what?
I know you did, girl. I wish
And
I
my-
could have went.
And my mom said, no, you are not going there. So, like, me and my sister, we are so close. So it was like, hey, let me go to Norfolk State because my sister moved from, like, where we live from to Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And so Norfolk and Virginia Beach is, like, kind of one and the same. So I went to Norfolk State or whatever. And so then after that, it was like, my mom, she was upset. She said, you just want to be with your sister or whatever. And she was like, she really didn't want me there. Even though she loved my sister, she didn't want me around. My sister let me do whatever I want to do, be free and everything like that. So then when I went to Norfolk State, that is like how Kaniya started.
Okay, okay.
So that's how Kaniya started. So, I started.
In college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause like from the Eastern Shore, I only watch trans women like on Ricky Lake,
Oh, okay.
Jenny Jones.
Okay.
Not even Jerry Springer for real.
Right.
This
Yeah,
is Ricky Lake
yeah.
and Jenny Jones.
Yeah.
So that's how Kaniya started. So it was like I didn't know I could be there or whatever the case may be. So then when I moved, I went to college or whatever. Like we all, like you said, you moved out of your parents' house and you was able to become who you were.
Yeah.
So I went to college or whatever. So then it was like, I met friends. I used to get on the chat line.
Oh, well, you taking me back now, girl. You taking me back.
So my thing was like, I didn't really get on the chat line. Of course, I got on the chat line to meet some dates. But I got on the chat line to meet feminine people.
Okay, so hold on. We got to explain to the people what the chat line is. For those that don't know, back in the day, girl, so back in the day, we're dating ourselves here. Before the MySpace, the Facebook, the Instagram, and all of that, they had them. You had to pick up the phone and do the chat line and like dial in and create a little profile. And it was like 15 seconds max, and you got to sound as cute. I used to try to sound as cute and soft as possible, girl, and meet the people. So you're talking about the chat line.
Yeah, the Raven.
Okay, yeah, that
You know
one,
about the
okay,
Raven.
yeah.
No, so for instance, when I would get on like, because where I'm from is like literally like where I'm from, I'm the only trans woman that's from the area. You have people after me that like they're not really trans. I'm the one that became trans, got surgeries and this and that or whatever. So when I moved to Virginia Beach, it was even though Virginia Beach only like 45 minutes from there, but it's a whole different vibe, different story, everything. So when I moved there, it was like I got on the chat line because I didn't get on the chat line. I did get on the chat line to meet dates. Let's be clear because I did meet dates. But my thing was that I wanted to meet feminine, cunt people that was real gay.
Right.
But I'm like, I don't have no gay friends.
Yeah.
So then when I started to meet them or whatever, it was like, so now I can find out who I am. Because like even like with me, it's like before I transitioned or before I met them, I didn't want to be around anybody that was feminine. Cause I thought they were gonna get me clogged.
I'm screaming. No, but that was the mentality of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any trans feminine or any type of representation. I only had butch queens as friends, gay guys, gay men. Yeah.
And then the thing was that like even when I met drag queens and trans people, after like going to Norfolk State and my friends, somebody, they used to be on the stroll. You know about the stroll. I would go to the stroll and laugh at them and everything, not even knowing that would be my next door. So that's something totally different.
That's why you can't put your mouth on folk. You'll never know where
Yeah.
you're going to end up at.
But for me, it was like, with my mom, it was like with my family, they never, I probably, how you always got that one or two family members that always going to try it. But for me, so even like getting into this kind of work, it was like, why would I get in that type of work? Because it's like, that's not my story.
Yeah.
But I did have a story that it's like, my story is like a lot of people's story. And I always say that like this, like when we be like, our families don't accept us, it is not that our families don't accept us. It's because we want to do what we want to do. Like you just said, when you turned 17 or 18, you moved out. Your mom and dad didn't tell you had to get out.
No, they did.
You want to do what you wanted to do.
That's true.
Right.
This is
So
true.
that was my story too. So doing this type of work, it was always like, why would I do it? And then I didn't even really like, when it came to trans women, it was like, I'm not doing that. Gay people into that.
So that's because that's true. I remember when I decided that I wanted to be in community with you. I was like, come on, girl, let's go out to eat, and we ended up going out to eat, and, we kept going out to eat and stuff like that. And I'm the type of person that I am very affectionate to my friends. Like, if I call you my friend, if I'm building community with you, if I'm building relationship or rapport, I'm very honest and open about how I feel. And so I think we went out like 2 or 3 times, and we had a ball, we had a blast. And around the 3rd time, I was like, okay, just making sure you got home. Love you, and I would always say at the end of our conversations, because I'm going to let you know, because, people, especially before, I think this was before COVID, and then around COVID and after COVID, it was just like, people were here today, gone tomorrow. And so I wanted to make sure that I tell the people that I love them, not looking for it back or in return or any of those things. And I'd never realized that you didn't say it back until she said it back and was like, and I don't be saying it, but like I really because I don't even be really having no trans women friends, but like I know I fuck with you. And I was like, oh really? Like okay, and I didn't know it until you had said that. And so yeah, so like, is that because you were? Is the reason that you don't have any or? Why? Let me just ask. Like, why is that?
I think for me, it's like, even like, I think this comes from like my mom and stuff. It's like, at the end of the day, like, you can ask anybody. My mom, I was my mom's favorite child. Even though parents be like, I don't have a favorite child, they be lying. They lie. They know who their favorite child is. And for me, I was my mom's favorite child. So I always felt like that my mom told me that she loved me one time. Let me tell you why she said it. Because you remember back in the day with the cell phone, you couldn't text. Like when the cell phone stored the text, and she was trying to learn how to text, that was her first text to me. I love you. I still didn't know how to take it though. But for me, it was like, she never had to say that she loved me. I just knew by her actions. I know she loved me.
Love is the action word.
Yeah, I know that she loved me. So for me, it was like, so meeting friends, like, me and my friends, like I never say, like, we never say we love each other. And the crazy thing is that even still to this day, I have a best friend. We've been best friends for like 23 years. We still never say I love you. But the friends that I've met and became close here, like, I always say I love you. I don't know, it's something like with y'all be like all the affection and stuff. And that's not me. Like, but I feel like I have to be comfortable and safe. So even like for you, it's like you said when you could be like I love you, whatever. It's like And then on top of it, it was like you remember when I first how I first caught you when I first started the Heart to Hand, and they passed me over all this stuff, the groups and everything, and then everybody came to the group after Jasmine left, and then I called you. You was like, I'm not gonna be able to come. I'm busy or whatever. So I was like, well, girl, who is this girl? Like, whatever. And then they kept saying, I don't know who it was. They was like, have you met Monroe? And I'm like, well, I know I caught her. And I'm like, well, girl, she didn't want to come to my group. So it was like, but I feel like that when we first met, like, and then honestly, like, when we first met, it's like, I've never, like, literally, like, when it comes to friends, I never had people that be like, let's go out. And then we go out, and then it's like, you pay for it. So for me, it's like that was new to me. So every time when I be like, you don't want me to pay for it because it's like that's not what I'm used. Especially like with one of the girls, I'm not used to that. And then especially for you to be like, I drink, and then you don't drink. You want to order cranberry juices, and then for you to even still pay for my drinks and stuff like that, I'm like, well, girl, I pay for the drink, you pay for the food. You like, no, I pay for everything. So that's all new to me, seriously. Like, and I think that a lot of times, like, people really get me misconstrued because they don't know my story.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not an open book at all. So even like when I hit you, I'm like, okay, you know what? Even when I saw you, I shared everything.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you always
and then
support.
your first couple of the shows, you was like by yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, girl, she didn't ask me. So then when I seen your first guest, I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna go on. I said I'm gonna hit her up, and I hit you up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that you would be the only person that I would really feel comfortable with, like talking to, because a lot of people do not know my story. Even like my Facebook post I shared the other day,
Yeah.
no people don't know that story. Like
Yeah.
I may get on Facebook and be like, okay, today's the day that my mom died.
Yeah.
Nobody ever knew the story like what I posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
And we'll probably get into that later
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
But nobody really knows the actual story. They just know that my mom passed away.
Yeah.
They don't know like the things that I go through. So sometimes I do feel like that it's like, well, all of my friends, you have never been through what I've been through, even though I'm so strong. Like, no, you ain't been through what I've been through.
And so, and let me clarify, because I know a lot of people like, well, you ain't asked me to be on here and stuff like that. And like, and when I started this podcast, I wanted it to be about me being vulnerable and open and honest. And I started it not really necessarily having a floor plan of what it looks like. I said I was going to let God be God and allow things to happen organically. And I was just going to tell my truth. And so when Dominique asked, I felt so honored, right? And then even when you hit me up and said it, you play a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, okay, she ain't going to do it for real. And then I was like, well, no, she might be really serious. And so when you said, yeah, I was like, oh, okay, well, sure. I would love for you to come on here because knowing a part of your story and knowing pieces and glimpses of your story, I think that it is an extremely powerful one that can be relatable to a lot of people who have that lived experience. I know you and I have a lot in common, and one of those things is recently your baby passed away, your fur baby, and my fur baby passed away. I had to put him to sleep in 2021, and so when if you ain't never lost a pet, that's a different type of hurt. Like, and the saddest part about it is people who aren't pet people don't get it, and people who have pets that are living that has never lost one don't get it. And I feel like sometimes people don't honor those things.
That's why I don't have one right now.
And yeah, girl, that's why I ain't got another one yet
like,
either, girl.
I'm like, I don't feel like, I think that for me, like with my dog dying, like they probably was like the worst thing next to my mother.
Yeah.
Like what happened with my mother.
Yeah.
And like, and people, I have friends that have breeded their dogs. They be like, God would drive the dog up there to you. I'm like, no, I don't think I ever want to go through that. And that's like saying that like, what happened to my mom, it's like, okay, I can go through this whole thing again.
Yeah.
And it's no shade. It's like with my dog, it's like, yes, that was my mom. Like, and I love her damn, but my dog was different. Like, my dog done been through everything with me. I done
Girl,
been in
you
jail.
telling
I done
me.
done everything with my dog. And like, my dog always knew that like what was going on with me. Like, no matter what was going on.
Somebody told me that the example of God's unconditional love is the love of a pet, right? Like dogs are there. You can yell, scream, holler, cuss, fight. They still gonna be right there at the end of the day. As a dog. Now I'm not a cat girl, but
Nah, I hate
dogs.
cats.
I'm not a cat girl,
Hate
but
cats.
dogs, yes, and that is exactly how I feel. Now, before we get into the story that you want to share, what, in honor of LGBTQ History Month, do you have a person that you want to pay homage to? It could be a celebrity, a person living, past, whatever, in the LGBT history portion.
I think for me, like the person I want to give it to is like, and I'm sure that anybody who watched this, when I should, they're gonna think it's so cliche, but it's not really cliche. It's like Tracy Africa.
Okay,
Like that was
yes.
somebody who, like, for me, it was like I remember, like, I saw that box. I did not know she was a
So
trans
let
woman.
people know who. So for those that don't know, Tracy Africa was the first trans woman who was living stealthily, in a sense. She was a model. She is still a model. She was on the Perm box. Was it the Perm box?
The
The
Clairol, the
Clairol
high,
box.
Doc Auburn.
Okay, go ahead now.
So I think for me, it was like, and then especially like I've always heard her story, right? So for me, that was still just amazing to me, and like because it's like she lived there, like she lived in this era where it was like people could never tell her story because she never was open with her story. And I just recently watched an interview with her, and she was like, I never told them what I was because, and I think that's how I am too. And I feel the same way. She was like, I never told them my story because it's like, we know that, like, if you say you trans, they're going to make all the money,
Yeah,
not you.
girl.
And for me, it's like, now the whole topic, like, I know for me, like, my identity is going to always make me some money.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's how I feel like that I really like listen to her and I could really relate to her because she's like, well, I'm never gonna say like I never said I was trans because I knew that if I said I was trans, that's how they're gonna market me. And so they're gonna make more money than what she's gonna make. And so that's why I love her. And like even now, like I just watched an interview where she was like, I never identified as trans. She said, but now watching this generation, the younger generation, I can now accept that. So yeah.
That's good. That's good.